This shirt rides up. Okay.
You can just see it all the way up here.
Yeah, it just slowly like travels up my boobs. It's just sitting on my chin.
Every time we cut away, it's just two first names.
Can't trust anyone with 2 first names. Sean.
Sean Howard. Sean Howard. Derry.
Especially when you're in darkness in the corner there.
With a fucking red blinking.
I don't know what the hell you have behind you. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Exit Only Theater podcast. I'm JP. With me, as always, is
Adrian Alderette.
with an awesome sweatshirt, my dad. Can you show the world what's going on?
Hey, check it out. This is my Star Wars shirt that I wore on the premiere night.
A very vintage throwback. Yes, you did. I hadn't seen it since then.
Yeah,
So.
I haven't washed it since then. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I smell terrible. The smile she has is so forced.
I'm terrified.
She cried before
this
we started rolling.
If this room drops, goes up in any temperature, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Every time we cut, she's gonna sit farther and farther
I'm just gonna end up out of the frame, just upstairs. With us, as always, is Jonathan Fisher and our tech guru, Sean Howard.
Speaking of smelling bad.
Well, let's just launch into this discussion. We're going to do sort of a DC breakdown. There's been some news lately, and Jonathan's going to take it away for us.
So yeah, we're going to do a DC recap. Warner Brothers introduced us to the DC lineup last Tuesday on the 19th, and Jeff Johns did a little show introducing us some more Batman vs. Superman stuff. They did a Suicide trailer, but I think what we're first going to talk about is the new Wonder Woman movie and what your thoughts were on that.
All right.
Yes.
I think you should carry this
Yes.
discussion. I feel like that would happen regardless, so I'm pretending like it's my idea. Go.
Yes. So obviously, this is a background that I really am interested in seeing. Not just because it's obviously comic books, but this is DC's first real building of a universe.
Yeah.
So it's like, they going to nail it? Are they not? So this was the first introduction to that. So basically, the first thing they trotted out that I thought was really exciting was the Wonder Woman footage.
Yes.
So basically, we learned a lot of things from Jeff Johns. And these are all things that he said. First, it's confirmed that this is an origin story. So this is, obviously, it's not just a random solo movie. It's an origin story. It's also, that means we might see some Themyscira. That's where the Amazons are from, because Wonder Woman's an Amazon. She's a goddess, pretty much. It's set during World War I, so it's a period piece.
I like that, too.
Yeah.
It differentiates it from that Captain America vibe that you feel like you could be getting, so I'm all in for that.
It's the neglected war. It's like, hey, which one do we want to shoot? Nam, World War II? Nah, let's go World War I.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that. Aside from that, we started learning a little bit more about like what potentially the story could be about, at least what they set up, what the women from Themyscira are going to be doing. Basically, her mission and the mission of the Amazonian women are going to be is that they're warriors that were once put on Earth to protect man, but they abandoned that because they deemed that they weren't worth it.
Okay.
Because obviously they became kind of, men.
That introduces an interesting theme.
Interestingly enough, they're probably going to return during World War I.
Okay.
So that's very interesting that we'll get into in a moment. And also, Jeff Johns was quoted as saying that she's the best fighter, Wonder Woman, in the DC universe. So it's exciting because aside from like just the film saying we're going to see some awesome action scenes, but she's going to be like Thor and Captain America in one being, and that's awesome. That's really cool.
I can't wait to see them like show that too, because it's one thing to just say it, but the sequences that they probably develop within the context of World War I could be pretty epic.
Awesome. And like, all right, so let's go into like what we think. All right, so first, obviously, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
What did you think of the look? It seemed very, very, very dark. What did you think about that?
It was not sepia, not monochromatic, but it was sucking some of the color that you would see in a lot of traditional comic book movies. Yeah. And I err on the side of not liking that in some contexts. Whereas in some Snyder films, they tend to be a little too brooding and a little too dark. I think this could work because, like we'd said before, it's sort of Paths of Glory-esque. That time period in world history wasn't very colorful, so I'm appreciative that they are going more for the historical relevance versus let's push the Wonder Woman story. Let's make them complement each other. Yeah. So I like it. My first reaction was to say that I didn't, but as I kind of thought about it and when it was confirmed the World War I reference, I'm all in for it.
That's the hipsters in us. We want to hate before
we're
we celebrate.
We're just skeptical at first. Right? Exactly. You have to earn our trust.
Exactly. For me, it's very DC, but like you said, the one thing I enjoy about DC is that in regards to setting, they drop the heroes in our world rather than the other way around. So like we're always for instance, like when you go back to the Dark Knight, specifically the Dark Knight movie, the setting was Chicago, corrupt city. Let's put them in Chicago. That's where they shot it. It's, to me, visually, it helps out a lot. Because it allows us to connect and say, hey, I know what they're talking about. It goes with the theme.
No, yeah, absolutely.
They obviously do that better. Well, we don't know if better yet. But they're going in the right direction when it regards to saying, like, they did that with Man of Steel.
Yep.
Even though they destroyed everything, we couldn't recognize it afterwards. But
that's my problem with Man of Steel, is the themes of it being so difficult for him to take life, but then you just see all this destruction. It's like there's a bit of a dichotomy, and that speaks to the darkness of the film. It's like they're heavy-handed with it.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be a turn in the right direction, but it's a continuation of what they started with Man of Steel. So.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, speaking of themes, was exactly the theme. What themes are you excited based off what Gal Gadot said, Patty Jenkins, the director, Chris Pine? Like, what is there anything that stuck out that you're like, hey, if they hit on that, that'd be very interesting?
What I think is interesting is the reason why she's returning to help the human race now. It's that idea that we weren't worth it for such a long period of time, but now that I don't know if the impetus is the fact that World War I's happening or if it's just a coincidence and it's a backdrop. I'm not sure, but. The idea of seeing the world in chaos and that character recognizing that something needs to be done to help, I think that's an interesting theme, because everyone's kind of fighting each other. No one's recognizing that there can be a solution around that, and her character could be a really cool way to sort of be a lens through which you see that in a different way. So it's going to be cool.
And it kind of, the one thing that I want to say too, that if you haven't seen, a good basis of where to learn Wonder Woman from, actually, is the animated movie literally called Wonder Woman. It's on HBO Go right now, or HBO Now. I don't know what it's called anymore.
Neither do I.
But it's a lot of the themes that they hinted at in this were in that film. And it's actually a really well-made film for an animated movie. It's not a kid's movie because it's animated or anything like that. It's one of those adult DC.
You've been saying that DC has a very strong animated presence.
Yeah, so I feel free to take a look at that if you don't trust what I have to say. So it's cool. But I will say this again, bouncing right off what you said. The World War I setting is exciting because of the potential involvement what her character has to do. The Amazonian women, even though they're warriors, they're trained from birth, they're there to preserve peace. So when the fact that they've been not secluded, but they've chosen to not interfere with man's world because they've always been fighting, for the fact to say, okay, we have to go back now, says something for the fact that it's World War I.
Yeah,
and I think it's very interesting. I think it's really, really interesting. Again, like also Chris Pine mentioned that the story. I found the Chris Pine angle was very interesting because there was a lot of reports out leading into his casting of this movie that he was offered Green Lantern, and he was offered the role of Steve Trevor, the love interest for Wonder Woman. He chose to do Steve Trevor.
Okay.
And even though he went on and publicly said, "Look, I was never offered Green Lantern," I'm like,
so it's speculative.
It's speculative, but like there's sometimes truth to something, and I think it's interesting because in the showcase he said that this story was very important. And he kept, with keyword on important, the way he said it. He said, this story is important to tell a story about a powerful woman in today's world. Well, in that point, it was a present day, it was World War I. I think it's interesting that he was very passionate about that. And let's just say for speculation's sake that it was true that he was offered Green Lantern in this. I think it's interesting that he chose to choose this. And if it's important enough, I think that DC's headed in the right direction when it comes to themes in their movies.
I think it's interesting for an actor like him to want to be a part of something, but understanding that being a major figure in a temple like Green Lantern would be, it's a lot to ask for too. So I think it gives him an opportunity to be a part of something that's interesting, maybe more dynamic than what he saw was possible with the other franchise, but still be a part of the world without having to be connected to 4, 5, 6 films or whatever the case may be.
And
so
he's perfect as
smart
Steve
on
Trevor.
his part.
Yeah, he's perfect as Steve Trevor. But what did you guys think? Jonathan, what did you think about the Wonder Woman footage?
Well, going back to the themes that you were discussing, I was never a huge DC fan, so I didn't know a lot about Wonder Woman. I actually thought that she was more an American superhero like Captain America or Superman because she kind of had like the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
And that's how it was marketed for years.
Yeah.
But learning that she's like Amazonian, it actually brings up like more questions that I want answered. Like, yeah, she comes into the World War I fight because she wants to preserve peace, but does she then go into hiding and then come back for Batman vs Superman? Does she not age? Like, what makes her want to come and help Batman vs Superman fight this one guy?
That's very true.
That is true. That's an 80-year gap. It's perceived to be like an 80-year gap. So what are the questions that they're asking there? That's interesting.
It's really cool. Sean, what did you think?
I actually didn't love all of it.
No, it's good. I like a dissenting voice.
I've never really followed Wonder Woman at all, so maybe that's why. It's just because I don't know.
I disagree. I think you followed Wonder Woman at least once in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're an avid watcher. Fair enough.
Overall, but I think overall we're very excited to see more. So it's definitely something to look out for.
Well, let's jump into the Suicide Squad trailer. What did you guys think? It was about a 2.5 minute, basically like music video to Bohemian Rhapsody. But what did you guys think of that?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really cool. We didn't really learn anything new. Like the only thing that we really learned was, according to the Rick Flag character who kind of does the voiceover in the beginning, who was played by Joel Kinnaman. He's like, you guys are going somewhere very bad to do something that will probably get you killed. Woo! Like that sounds awesome, man. That
definitely sets the stakes.
Because like we're coming off the terrible Batman v Superman trailer, the second trailer.
Yes.
Everybody, you already know how we feel about that.
Universally panned by most of us here. Yeah.
And for me, when I was watching this trailer, I was nervous. I was like, okay, I'm worried. Are they going to show anything crazy? The second we hear the first piano key from Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm like, oh, okay, this is definitely different from the last trailer.
Yep.
All right, but let's get right into it. What, like the tone. What did you like about the tone? What didn't you like about the tone of the trailer?
I appreciated that it gave us more of the humor that we didn't see in the first trailer. So the first trailer gave us the sort of just the atmosphere. We're seeing the characters. We know almost nothing of what's going to happen. This trailer, we still really don't know what's going to happen. There's not really. That's what I loved most about the trailer is that dreaded trailer 2 problem that I'm sure you'll get into at some point. It's basically like, don't watch them if you don't want to know the entire plot. But this is the exact opposite. They do a very good job of keeping you in the dark still, but at the same time, they added the humor that made it okay for us to be even more excited about the film.
Yeah.
So the tone itself, I actually appreciated, even if it was different from what I perceived to be the better trailer, which was the first one. So,
the first trailer was definitely much more mysterious, and I think that's why, like, I remember after Comic-Con, you said, I want to see this movie.
That was my favorite trailer coming out of Comic-Con, for sure.
And again, this movie, after watching this trailer, and that was pretty much the end of the DC showcase, that was the best thing about anything. Like, this is the thing, like,
true.
There's a reason why we're not talking about Batman v Superman, because it was the weakest of everything that was presented. And it may not say anything towards the film yet, per se, but it's funny that even though the thing that's supposed to kick off the universe is not necessarily what we're interested in. We're just saying, hey, let's go to the universe already.
Right.
Like, that looks pretty cool.
Let's jump right in, absolutely.
But yeah, like the use of Bohemian Rhapsody, I thought was very, very awesome. Initially I was like, oh, they're ripping out Guardians of the Galaxy, but they weren't. Right. It was completely different. There's like, I feel like the song and the trailer, and even it's going to speak also to the characters, because it's a roller coaster of a song. You start off classical, then you go with this crazy headbanging rock music, and it's obviously, then the way the trailer was cut, it very much felt that way. And it's probably hinting toward what the storyline might be. It's like they're going to go on a mission, they're going to be composed, then all of a sudden something happens where something interjects, maybe the Joker, and then all of a sudden it's just a free-for-all. It's like, all right, we have to just do this, every man for themselves. So I think it's exciting. I thought it was very cool tone-wise. But going back to the tone, do you prefer this kind of tone, or do you prefer the tone of the one that won you over from Comic-Con?
It's difficult to say, because for me,
for the potential of the movie, like I don't mean so much the trailer, but
no, definitely, and it's hard because it's like you almost want to just talk about the marketing of the film, because we have so little going off of like what the actual film's going to be. But for me, the tone and the use of Bohemian Rhapsody are sort of inseparable. They you have to talk about them together. Yeah. In the sense that for me, like I loved the first trailer because it took a Bee Gees song and used a cover in an interesting way. Or you look at the Social Network's trailer, they used the Radiohead song Creep, but in a very interesting way by using a different cover. I feel like if they had done something like that with this, where you start to hear the song, you're like, wait a second, like that masked feeling of like you didn't know what was going on with the context of the music, and then you realize how that music plays into the rest of the trailer, I think would have played more to, these bad guys can't be good guys, these bad guys can't be heroes, oh wait, let's see what happens. I feel like that would have played a better hand in telling the story without giving anything away. Yeah. I felt like, and I had goosebumps 2/3 of the way through the trailer, but it was because of the song, not because of the imagery. That's true. That's where it felt a little cheap to me, because I love that song, and many people do, and that's why they love the trailer. And it was edited very well to it. Yeah. Especially the moment where he opens the Coke bottle. Yeah. I just thought that was the Coke can. I thought that was a great way to just like pause it awkwardly, and you're just like getting a glimpse of the character. But
I also got a glimpse of Jai Courtney acting, but that was a one in a million.
I mean, that's also one of the X factors of the film that I'm worried about. But I just feel like if they had done something a little bit more original with this song, if it was just a cover, if it was just a different use of that song, I think it would have been better. Or maybe just don't use it the whole trailer.
Yeah.
There was just something about it that for me felt a little forced, but the trailer overall was very effective.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. It's very effective, and I hope if they go that way with the film, where they kind of take, like, it's hard to describe because it's more the way I described it to you guys. I remember when we talked about it at work. It feels more Deadpool-like than Guardians of the Galaxy-like. Where Guardians of the Galaxy, the music was there to kind of help calm you in the weird setting that you're in. This one is trying to make you kind of feel uncomfortable with this awesome song that you're watching.
And the music in Guardians was played perfectly into the plot, as it was physically a tape within the character's like existence. So it kind of worked. You could put just random stuff in there and it worked.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it has to have a point, and I think it does, but I would have preferred it to have been a little bit less on the nose, I guess is kind of what I was looking for.
I think if we were to compare both when it comes to like mixing those styles together, David Ayer, like based off what we've seen from him both in his writing and his directing, is that he doesn't make very flat movies. There's a lot of depth to his movies, especially with the characters from End of Watch, Sabotage, and even most recently Fury.
Yeah.
And I think I trust he gets the most out of every character he can from every film. They're all very well rounded.
I'm glad you say that because he can juggle ensemble casts to a fair extent, and this is going to have more than its fair share of characters. So it's in good hands. I'm excited about it. I just didn't know if I wanted the entire Bohemian Rhapsody played throughout the trailer.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, what do you guys think about the song, the tone? Like, is it something that you're excited about, or does it feel kind of like they didn't need to go that way?
I agree with Jen. I think that they could have used a different song or a different play on the song. Yeah. I didn't like that they edited the trailer to the song in some ways, like they did bullets on the ground or gunshots for like the drums in the song. I thought that was a little much. Yeah. And I also thought it felt a little Fantastic Four at points where they're like, oh, we have the guy that eats people, we have the girl that's invaded by a witch.
That's
it's
an interesting way to say it.
Let's not lay out all the characters and let them just develop on their own. True. But and Harley Quinn stole every scene she was in the trailer.
Which is very encouraging.
She did have one of the funner parts in it. And you know how I feel about the character Harley Quinn.
It's very important to you.
And anybody that dresses like Harley Quinn.
And when I dress up like Harley Quinn in my...
Jonathan's his favorite person at that point.
Good luck getting him home. But no, I think, Sean, did you enjoy the trailer? You're great.
He's giggling at Jonathan as Harley Quinn now.
Yeah, no.
Won't follow Wonder Woman, but he'll follow anybody looking at Harley Quinn.
No, not at all. No, I thought it was awesome. I love the whole thing. Yeah. And I like that it's kind of like DC's version to almost counter Deadpool. I know it's not like...
They're not in direct conflict with each other. Yeah.
It's going to happen that way. Mm-hmm. I think that's really cool, and I think it's going to... I think that movie and Deadpool are going to be two huge surprises in the year.
For sure.
I hope you're right.
And bookends to the year.
Talk about them and
That's a stupid thing. I love that they changed the neon logo of Warner Brothers and DC at the beginning.
I absolutely love that. There were splashes of color, and I know you're going to get to the next topic is going to speak to this, but there's a character that you see like 20 frames of, but there's so much color going on that I was just like mesmerized by it. I don't know why.
It's just like just going right into it. It's like the Joker, like just right away. Yeah. Like based off what we saw in this trailer and everything up to this trailer, as far as like footage that they've officially released, not those behind the scenes stuff that people get on their phones. Mm-hmm. Do you like his version now? Have we seen enough to say, okay, he's got it. Let's. I can't wait to see more of him.
I will read directly what I put on my notes.
Okay.
I refrain from judgment until I see his full performance. I cannot, at this point, I will not say anything else. I don't know why I high-fived to that. It's a reflex. But because I'm like, I don't necessarily love the idea of his performance. I'm not saying that. It's not like it's not me like saying I'm all in for Leto, because people who know me know that I'm not a huge fan of him in his.
It's not even a hater thing. She just doesn't like the guy.
I have a problem. We can get into that discussion later, but. And I love his band, and I love a lot of his performances. I don't know why. I'm being very hipster about it. It doesn't matter.
Sean just shaking his head. Like,
he is, yeah. I wish there was a camera just to show he's just like, no, stop it. But I will hold off any direct judgment on his performance. I think seeing the moment, the snapshots you see of him with Harley Quinn, it'll speak to a lot more backstory for her, which I feel like would be interesting for him to more complement the storyline, as opposed to scene steal everything, which is what I'm afraid is going to happen. Because Heath Ledger was so good as Joker, and you can't. And I know I'm not supposed to, but you can't not talk about it as a comparison. It's impossible.
And not only that, it's not because it was just also so good. It was technically one of his last performances.
Yeah, and
so it's like it's one of those where he literally left it on the table.
That's part of it. Yeah, that's
so
definitely.
It's like, how do you top that? Yeah. How do you top it? And like obviously like the only way you could go about doing that is just look. You have to kind of just. Heath Ledger's Joker, it was his Joker.
Yeah.
Jared Leto, do what you're gonna do, have some balls and do it. And it looks like he has some balls and he does it. Like
I mean, it's kind of like what Heath Ledger did with Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, like absolutely. And even though like I thought like Jack Nicholson was a little overrated because it was just Jack Nicholson and just wearing makeup, but you know, when you can only say that until you see Heath Ledger's Joker,
who just becomes this demented character. Yeah.
But I think you're right. Yeah, I even put I know you hate Jared Leto.
I don't know. I don't want people to be like, oh my God, she just hates him just to hate him. I'm like, I don't know why I'm not.
It's justified.
I'm not a huge Leto fan.
I have a feeling that he's actually going to be very good in it because he's like the audience favorite, and DC is still refraining from showing him a lot. I think they know they have a gold mine.
They're holding back and they know it's good.
They're waiting for the second trailer to drop so they can reveal everything.
Oh my goodness.
No. But like no, I was saying obviously it's still a little too vague to what to expect from him. But based off the trailer, the only assumption I can make is that his character and the way he's gonna play against the Suicide Squad is gonna be very random. It's gonna be where he doesn't in the trailer he doesn't attack from any one specific place. There's no one setting where he's just attacking. He's wearing a suit. He's slaying around with knives.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
With the other guys, or do you think he's like a rogue?
Like a monkey wrench in the
again, I know. I'm glad you brought that up. Like another DC animated movie that actually, like if you watch, it actually gives strong hints to what they might be, how they might use them in this movie. It's called Assault on Arkham, Batman Assault on Arkham.
I have been told to watch this several times.
Basically, what I think is going to happen is the Suicide Squad are going to be on a mission to do whatever, and the Joker interjects and kind of like ends up ruining the plans. Yeah. And it's through Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn may be separated from it, and it looks like they were separated in the movie, but the second he comes back to try to get her, that's what like fucks everything up. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing because in Assault on Arkham, Harley Quinn had broken up from Joker. He's like, oh, we're not together anymore. You know, that was my worst Harley Quinn ever. And it's just like they're broken up. Let's move past what just happened.
Just repeat that like a GIF over and over again.
Can you talk like that the entire time we're doing this?
Oh, are you hot and bothered right now? Is that why?
Why would I be hot and bothered? That was terrifying.
Do you guys think that there'll be a sequel soon after?
I think so. I think the way it's. Even though it's one of those, like, the characters that they have in it are very, like, they're so small that if they were the only villain, they would have been like Batman Forever, where it would have been really corny and cheesy, but together they're awesome. I think they will because there's unlimited amounts of, like, criminals from DC's universe that are so small that could be part of the Suicide Squad.
You know what I just realized this kind of reminds me of, and I could be getting, like, hate mail for this, but it reminds me, if they go further with it, it reminded me of, like, Mystery Men. And just how it's just like these misfits, but in this case they're like actually like evil. But like I will apologize for Mystery Men because I thought that movie was so much fun. So I would love to see it where there's like characters that are in canon, and have a bunch of solid actors doing it. I'm really excited about it.
It's cool. It's like it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy just from like a character perspective, how they use them. They're characters that no one really gave a crap about.
Yeah.
Like Drax.
It is a risk for this movie.
Yeah, like Drax he's a character that was introduced in an Iron Man comic and like one of the
which was also a second-rate comic for a while.
And then all of a sudden now it's like, oh, I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy anything that comes out. So I feel like that's the same way. The last thing we'll talk about the Suicide Squad trailer was what the hell was that thing in the subway that was doing the weird stuff with the weird colors?
That's
and
what
all
I was
stuff.
hinting at. That was like the second and a half of the trailer that I was like, oh, what is that?
That's one of the things that you're like, holy crap, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Basically, I did some digging and I found out that it could be this character called the Tattoo Man.
So original.
It's not.
Why? Can I ask why? It's because I'm very, very ill-versed on my DC history. Why? What is that?
Okay, this is.
Does he have a power attached to it?
DC has never been great with names. This is the thing. Like DC's always the first to do something, but never the one to perfect it. Like Thanos was actually a ripoff of this character called Darkseid, and Thanos ended up being cooler. because there was much more storyline to him and whatever. But DC was the first to kind of introduce that one character that is ruling behind the scenes for everything. But Tattoo Man, basically, that was like, you know what? Let's get a villain. Tattoo the guy. Tattoo Man. Ha!
But like, what does he do? I'm curious. It's an aside, and I'm sorry, but I want to learn. Like, what does he do?
One, has tattoos. Okay, let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
All right. Basically, his powers are he's able to manifest anything that's tattoos on his body.
That's awesome. Couldn't they have made a character name that's as cool as what that power is? That's so cool.
I feel
Sorry,
like
I'm nerding out right now.
No, it's just like
he's got like a dolphin and like a kitten. Like he needs like better. He needs better tattoos.
Like, it just has a pizza. It's just like no, no. But basically, is that the backstory of him is that. There were different iterations of him and whatnot, but like the one that I found most interesting and the one that I think is going to be played into this movie is that he was an ex-Marine where when he was a Marine, he was captured by this tribe. Everyone in his tribe was killed, and he was the only one left to survive, and he was brought into this tribe, and they gave him this power where that if you kill somebody, that you're able to graft any of their sins onto your body as a tattoo, and you can use that as a power.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you happen to, for instance, like if you kill Superman, we're fucked.
That's a
like,
problem.
Good luck. The guy didn't sin, but he was the most powerful dude in the world. Well, he technically killed everybody.
That's true. He's not perfect.
If he killed Superman, he wouldn't need that. Boom.
Shut up.
That's true. Like who was he fighting against?
Do we want to have a nerd off right now? Like that's cool.
It's already begun at this point.
But basically, like, so that's basically what he's doing. So obviously, the more people he kills, the more sins he tattoos, means the more powerful he gets. So it's
pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
I wish that name wasn't horrific.
That character is this is allegedly going to be played by Common, the rapper Common. And obviously his acting skills are rough, but the thing is like if he's heavily tattooed,
he's unrefined, but
it's kind of like it's the kind of like the Jai Courtney theory that I kind of have. It's like Jai Courtney sucks as an actor, but you put a little bit of makeup on him, put some chops on him, and tell him to develop. Like I think he's Australian already, but like he's like, hey, thicken your Australian accent, force him to act. It's like, okay, now you're going to get a little bit of a performance out of it.
And if you can like force them into caricature mode and then bring them back a little bit, it kind of gets them in that middle range of
exactly. But that was one of the things that I'm like, hey, I look forward to that. If it happens to be him, could be a powerful dude. I don't know if he's the main villain either. We'll see how that.
That's what worries me is that at some point it's like you have to stick with something or else it's going to get Spider-Man 3-ish or Amazing Spider-Man 2-ish where you've got too many things going on, and that's terrifying in its own right. So, but this is very intriguing.
This is the thing. Halloween's gonna be fun seeing all the people dress up or trying to cosplay with these guys, man. It's gonna be really neat. It's gonna be really neat. But no, that was overall that was a wrap up for the DC Film Showcase. Last thoughts? Anything that you guys found interesting or wanted to add?
Well, I've been working on a name for him with like Transformers, so you could do like Trans-Tour or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That'd have been a good name.
I mean, anything other than Tattoo Man. That's literally as
And he spells
obvious.
it with a tie and then a two. Just tattoo.
I really hope that's a joke.
Tattoo Man. Who wants a sandwich?
Hey, I mean, yeah. That's
it would be on my...
the deli clerk. I can make really good sandwich.
So, see, I don't know why they didn't encounter this problem in the writing room. It's just, but we'll hold off judgment, I guess.
This is fun. We're definitely looking forward to see what DC has to make, but first they have to get Batman v Superman right.
Yes, so by the end of March, we'll know whether or not we should be worried about August. We're really excited about both of these films and everything else that was on the slate, but a lot of the other stuff was things that we'd heard about in other first looks.
That was just kind of concept art stuff. It was like, well, we don't even, like, this thing, like, if Batman v Superman bombs, it's like, we may not even get these, aside from Suicide Squad, we may not get Wonder Woman. So we'll see.
That's sad.
We'll see. They have to nail it.
That's bittersweet.
Yeah.
And she was arguably the best part of the trailer for Batman v Superman, so that's a good sign.
She was the best looking part of the trailer. Yeah.
I like me some Ben Affleck, I'll show him some love. Anyway, moving on. This was our DC discussion.
I take back whatever high five I gave you.
If you can, it's already happened. If you guys have any comments, if you agree with us, you disagree with us, if you guys love Jared Leto, please attack me. I want to hear what you guys say because I love having this discussion online. So if there's any other last comments, if not, we'll wrap things up. For Jonathan Fisher, for Sean Howard, for Adrian Alderette, I'm JP Lee. I think he's found out what he's wearing for Halloween. That's gonna stick. Hashtag for JP I'm JP Lee. Not it. Hello for Exit Only Feeder. See you when the credits roll.
Bye, guys.
Bye.